Hi, and welcome to day 2 of my 12 days of mobility and strength. As always, please listen to your body, and if anything we do here feels at all peculiar or potentially insidious anatomically or emotionally or for any other reason, please stop. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So we'll start out seated, and then we'll, after that, come up into a standing position. And then we'll come back down to the floor for kind of full body integration into an abdominal slash upper and lower body exercise. But we'll start off in a seated position, cross-legged, but then you grab a hold of your right foot. So we're doing a little bit of seated ankle mobility. So I have my hands wrapped around my right ankle, actually a little bit above the ankle. And depending on the amount of pressure you're willing to take in your soft tissues around your shin bones, you can dig your fingertips into your calf muscles while you're doing this to kind of get a little pin and spin type of massage. Speaking of spinning, I've just started to circle my right foot. You might get some clicks along the way as things get warmed up there. And then circle the other way. I'm also holding on to my leg in a way that is attempting to keep me upright while I do this. So it's like I'm trying to pull my leg straight up to the ceiling. All right, same leg moving up to the knee now. So we're working on ankle, knee, and then hip, the 3 primary joints of the lower body. Depending on your body, you may choose to just have your hands behind your right knee, or possibly, if you have the mobility, you hook your right arm under your right knee, and then you can grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and that will further help you to sit up a little bit taller as you do this. Then your forearm kind of functions as a bit of a massage tool, sort of getting a little friendly sandpapering of your hamstrings, your lower hamstrings, distal hamstrings, against your forearm as you attempt to straighten or somewhat straighten your right knee again and again. And I'm in the somewhat straightened category myself right now. Right, not counting repetitions here, but I'll try to feel it out and do about the same amount of time and perhaps repetitions when we get to the other side, just like the chicken who crossed the road. Then we'll take it up to the right hip, and for this you can come down onto your left forearm, and you can either have a pronated or a supinated forearm depending on how your shoulder's feeling. If you've had any kind of left shoulder injury, it might be good to go for supinated because it's almost a continuation of external rotation up into your shoulder, which is more stable when you're in shoulder flexion, which we are here. So returning to the task at hand, which is the right hip, getting to circumduct right now. So I've just started to make circles with the right hip. And you can really try to get precise here. See, I can go from internal rotation, swinging the leg down in front of me, to hip flexion, to then externally rotate, and then bringing it toward hip extension when you feel the buttock contracting more readily. My microphone down here for a second. And then reverse that. And a little byproduct of this is that your torso gets to move around a little bit too. Unless you decide to become a little more austere with it and contract your abdominals. But I'm trying to keep this a little bit loose, a little bit relaxed. And that's it. So now we'll switch sides. Now, your right leg stays in a cross-legged position, and then you can wrap your hands like Pac-Man chomping down on a cherry in the arcade game around your left leg just above your ankle. And it could be fingertips squishing into the soft tissues there, or just have your hands kind of in general holding the leg in place while also trying to lift the leg and get a little more upright in the process. left foot circles. Now, my left foot is the one that tends to click a little bit more as a result of some previous injuries. Old injuries can leave lasting impressions, unfortunately. But, you know, as we get more intelligent about our bodies, we learn to manage them. Circle the other way. Oh, mine's clicking more this way. Sometimes you can actually create traction in your ankle by trying to pull on it a little bit, and that helps me sometimes. Then, left arm or hands behind your left knee. And I'm hooking my arm in a way where I can grab onto my left wrist with my right hand and then sit up a little bit taller. Then the attempt is here, of course, to straighten or somewhat straighten your left leg. Your body will let you know which side feels a little tighter. And then we'll take it down to the right forearm, pronated or supinated, depending on how your shoulder's feeling. And for this version, I've been keeping my forearm parallel to the short side of my mat. Then a little bit of tension in the abdominals, but not so much that you can't allow for some secondary movement in the torso. So we'll just start to go through some hip circles here. You can, keep it pretty relaxed if you want, or you can get really focused on the directions of movement and the ranges of motion. So you can go from here, extension through internal rotation, and then flexion way up toward the upper chest, and then you start to externally rotate, abduct, and then go back into extension. And you just refine all those positions. And then reverse. See how your breathing is at this point? We're focusing more on movement here and not so much on breath. So that's maybe one element of our movement practice today that is not so yogic in nature, but maybe meditative in terms of watching your body internally move. And maybe if you set up a mirror in front of you, you can see that too. All right, so next we'll take it up into a standing position. Slight adjustment of my camera here. Now we'll do some standing arm circles in 3 planes of movement. So we'll start by doing single arm circles, 10 repetitions of each version of this in each direction. And we'll start off in the sagittal plane with the right arm. So remember, I am not mirroring you. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, so that was the sagittal plane. Now we'll do the frontal plane, which, as you might suspect, happens all in front of you. So we'll go into a sort of an air guitar version of this. We're going right in front of you. Your torso might move a little bit as you do that, but let that happen. We're keeping this pretty relaxed, pretty loose. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change directions. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the third version of this, it's a little more challenging, and it's not so much moving in the transverse plane with the arm this time, but it's more with the torso. So think of moving your arm in a figure 8 pattern now. All right, so almost like you're conducting an orchestra quite dramatically. You can also think of this as an infinity sign being wrapped around you, as corny as that might sound. A little unusual to figure out, so if you need to pause the video, go back and watch it a little bit to see exactly what I'm doing, and then try to figure it out in your own body, then do that. Believe me, it might feel a little bit peculiar at first if you're unused to this. So right now, I've started to go through almost like I'm, again, conducting an orchestra quite dramatically. So let me start the counting now. We'll just say this was all preparation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then change directions. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left side, sagittal plane. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Going right into the frontal plane with this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's almost like you're trying to get someone's attention off in the distance. Then that dramatic conducting the orchestra kind of motion with the arm. So the infinity pattern wrapped around you, like an infinity hug almost, as corny as that sounds. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, notice my rotation here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's almost also as if you were a left-handed tennis player hitting ground strokes, hitting forehands quite dramatically. So next, we'll take it back down to the floor and combine a little bit of our lower body work with upper body work as we do a lat stretch on a foam roller. But if you don't have a foam roller, no big deal. We'll show you a version of this you could do without one. You will also need a yoga block, which I'm assuming is more of a prominent prop than a foam roller might be. So let me just show you first without the foam roller. If you are foam rollerless, you hold a block between your hands long ways. The palm and the wrist are on mostly this interface zone between the heel of the hand and the wrist. That's where you want your hands. This will help to keep the forearms lined up. Then you shift into sort of a child pose with the stretch here. And then you, in the quadriceps, or excuse me, not the quads, in the latissimus dorsi, aka the lats. And then you bring it forward onto your forearms, and you can untuck your toes, squeeze your buttocks, maybe a little posterior tilt, and then you take it back to your knees. So that's one round. We'll do 10 repetitions of this. Quick demo with the foam roller. This happens to be a very squishy foam roller. It's from the Melt method. I'm not sponsored by them, but it is a very nice foam roller if you're looking for one. Melt, I believe, means myofascial energetic lengthening technique, if I recall correctly. So if you're doing the foam roller version, you hold on to your block, you get your elbows on the foam roller, then, slight adjustment as I go here, you roll it into this child's pose while holding onto your block, and then, oops, further adjustment here, sorry. All right, I'll get it once we get started. Then you roll yourself forward a little bit into that plank on the foam roller. And you go back into child's pose, and then back into that forearm plank on the foam roller. Got it? All right. You can also modify this by skipping it all together, as I always like to say in all of my classes. So here we go. 10 rounds, and this will be it for today. So going into a latissimus dorsi stretch here, and then taking it into forearm plank. So here we go. So let's go, starting now, child's pose, and then plank, 10. 9. It's inherently wobbly on the foam roller, so it's going to make it harder. 10, or excuse me, that was 8. I'm great at math. Not. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Whoops, last one, running out of space here. And 1. And that's it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this and found it a good way to become a little more attuned to your body. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to have a like or a subscribe. That helps the algorithm, evidently. If you want to find other ways to get in touch with me on social media, you can find those links in the description box. And I thank you very much for joining me today. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.